Welcome back to What's Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the M44, the Tier 6 American SPG. It's located on the eastbourne of Malinovka and it's under the command of 135 Noob. Well, last time we saw him, he was on Fisherman's Bay, and let's see how he gets on this map. Okay, well, battle started. And he's immediately moving into the trees to get a good firing position that's in undercover. Now on this map I always like to shoot at the spotting bushes because there's always the possibility that one of the enemy tanks, a lighter or whatever, is made its way into those bushes and is now spotting our team and allowing them to do damage, or allowing his team to do damage on us. And in fact it looks like a T-52 has actually moved past the spotting bush and is now actually next to the lakeside. He might not be the only scout though. There might be one in the bush already and he might have gone lakeside because of it, but I'm afraid 135 Noob is obviously missing the point that that T-52 is actually spotting for his team and he's allowing his team to do damage. So he's a priority target. You've got to take him out of the equation, otherwise you're going to end up with your team losing hit points, and we're already down on the enemy by 1,000. Rounds out on the T-52. Unfortunately, we lose sight of the T-52, but he is pulling back into his area of the map, and I think we just saw some shots coming out from behind some of those rocks. So I suspect there's still tank destroyers there. He's going for the Wizzy 1201 GFT. Gets a direct hit for 178. Now he still hasn't fired at the bush, and there could be an enemy light tank in that bush at this moment. There's a Hellcat behind that rock, but again he's missing the point. There is an enemy tank spotting our guys. There's a Skoda. He's up on the hill overlooking the lake. Over on the west side of the map, T-34-3 and an ELC Evan 90, or Steve 90 as we now call it. That one landed a bit short. Now 135 Noob does have the kind of problem of being not fixated on any target. He's a bit, you might say, hyperactive. Yes, I think there's a particular technical term for somebody who's like that. He won't stay still on any target for any length of time and focus on his fire on it to make sure that target's gone. He got a direct hit there, and we'll just have to wait and see if they come back into sight. But you see, when he actually does this, he's actually doing himself a disservice, because he can actually take one of those enemies out of the battle altogether. And there's plenty of enemies in sight at the moment and he's ignoring them. In fact, a Skoda T25 has now made it underneath our F7 lookout position, which means now that, well, he was for a short time able to do some damage, but he got killed by the ELC Evan 90. So thank goodness that that guy managed to recognise the threat and is dealing with it. But this T-52 is an even bigger threat. He's getting very, very close. Oh, we've been hit by the T-52. Thankfully he was wiped out, but it means we were seen, which means he has to move quick or the enemy Arty will be on him like a flash. We haven't seen any enemy Arty rounds, but there is only one Arty on the enemy team, and he's gone behind the bushes and now he's finding a new firing position. So obviously the enemy Arty didn't react fast enough. Now, okay, next target he's selecting is up on the hill, and well, that IS-2 just got wiped out by our defender, and he's now selecting the Striv 74, who's coming back down the hill as fast as he can, and he didn't give enough lead on that target, and therefore the shell was a long way behind it. Further up the hill we've got a P43-2 who's managed to make it across the gap by going through the lower area, which obviously is under a ridgeline, so you can actually sneak across there if you're not spotted, and so that's quite dangerous because it means they get to the other side, they can spot who's coming up and who's going down, and possibly you can get shots into them. He fires at an ELC M90 and splashes him for 156, but we lost our P43 biz. There's that T-34-3. And it was, of course, that ELC Evan 90 was actually one of the tanks that was hiding around that corner earlier in the game when he was looking at that corner. The ELC is actually taken out of the game by our ELC, who seems to be everywhere where he's needed at any one time. I think he's probably going to end up with quite high scores because he's got 2 kills already. And that round was near the Wizzy 1201 GFT. Okay, we've got an SU-152. Is that an ISU? No, it's an SU-152. Now he's in that area of trees just south of the hill. Okay, none of the enemy in sight now at the moment. We're 1 tank down on the enemy, but things could change. The T-34-3 has actually moved up to the wreck now, so he's actually making progress because he's starting to get closer to the cap. That was a good shot, splash shot for 200. I think it tracked him, and he is taking 5 from others. We've got a Striv 74 hiding just behind that warehouse that's been knocked down, the farmhouse, and he was the one that was actually up on top of the hill, I believe. Made his way down pretty quickly as soon as he realised that the tanks up the hill were being pushed back. Okay, 135 Noobs having difficulty trying to find a good solution. If the guy moves up, he should get a hit. He does. Splash hit for 190. That's a good hit. Okay, the Striv 74 is just basically a Striv M42 with a different turret. And that Wizzy 1201 FT that was actually behind one of the rocks has now moved south. And 135 Noob fires around in, gets a direct hit. That was a good shot. The guy stopped, turned, and then got hit pretty hard. Okay, he's reassigning his aim, but we can't see where the T-34-3 is. There was a tank in the spotting bush. I did say you should always fire at the spotting bush. It was the 5916 that was in there. And he's now revealed himself and he's moved away from the bush. He probably could have got an easy kill off that one. Always fire at the spotting bush, because if you don't, you're going to miss the opportunity to get a good kill. The ELC M90's just killed the Wizzy 1201 GFT. And now we've got the T-34-3 now behind the windmill. Oh, well, 135 Noob was about to fire a round in there. He would have got that kill, but still waiting for a kill. There's the 5916 that I mentioned earlier. Yep, he was in that spotting bush. A near miss, stunned him. SU-130PM's going to end his game, hopefully. He's probably in reload. Yes, he was in reload, but he just completed his load and finished that guy off. There's only 1 enemy remaining. It's a Hellcat, and we're moving into attack now. At this point in the game, it's sometimes actually helpful for the Arty to move up, to get closer to the enemy so that they can get shots. And you never know where that Hellcat might have gone. He might have actually been circling around, trying to come back down the other side to take out the Arty. That's a sneaky move, but I know that some players do it. And there's the Hellcat. He didn't do that. He actually did stay near his cap, and he's been wiped out. So that's the end of the game. Or never assume that somebody is still up the other end of the map, because they might have circled if they were clever enough. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, it's a second class tanker for 135 Noob in the M44. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. He got 18, and he got a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. His win rate from that game was 2,286, which is a very good score. If we look at the team score, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the defender, who got 2,244 hit points, followed by the ELC M90 on the enemy team with 2,169, and then the T-23E3 on our team, who got 1,982. When it came to 135 Noob, he got 1,497 hit points of damage. And when it came to kills, it was Defender again with 5 kills, 3 kills for the SU-130PM, the ELC-790, who got a patrol duty, and the T-34-3 on the enemy team. I'm afraid 135 Noob didn't get any kills at all in that game. And when it came to base XP, it was the ELC-790 again. He was jack of all trades, he was everywhere, and he was spotting for the team. 4,525 hit points of damage and of spotting damage, and of course that patrol duty. And he got 1,222 XP, 816 for the T23E3, 807 for the Defender, and then we got 135 Noob with 759 experience points altogether. He fired 16 rounds, got 4 direct hits, no penetration but 14 splash. Damage of 1,497 hit points, of which 1,351 were at more than 300 meters. He received 1 hit. It was a penetration, yeah, I'm afraid. He did get shot by the T-52, who managed to do a very bold run that came down that side of the map. And he did find him, but he couldn't stay alive long enough to capitalize on it. And thankfully, the rest of the team did react fast enough to take that T-52 out. And of course, 135 Noob did do the right thing. He moved straight away. The moment you're spotted, the moment that 6th sense goes off, move. Because if you've been spotted, then there's a very good chance that the enemy Arty is already looking at you and getting ready to shoot. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, none killed, and 63 hit points of damage assistance, plus 653 hit points of stun assist of... that's 63 hit points of damage assistance and 653 hit points of stun assist of 14 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 36,383 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, took away 27,710 credits. He picked up 1 bomb for the Confederate, and 1,138 XP, 7,973 for completing the mission events, and took away 9,111 experience points altogether. I'd say that really the problems I saw with 135 Noobs' game in this one was basically the same as in the previous one. He wasn't fixing on any particular target at any one time to make sure that that target was out of the game. He was actually flicking around from one target to the next, picking a new target each time with each shot, and then he was staying for a length of time on a particular target once it became unspotted. When he was hoping that it would come back into sight again. If you've actually hit a target that's then gone unsighted, it might be worth firing another round in there just in case they are still there. Sometimes they do stay in the same spot, and he did on one occasion, and of course then he didn't get any result off it, but it is worth doing that. But as I say, with Malinovka, the key thing to do is to fire at the spotting bushes. There was a 5916 sitting in that bush, spotting our team and getting damage on our team for his own teammates. And so it's a priority whenever you go onto a Malinovka map as Arty. You must hit the spotting bush, and normally I'll hit it twice as well. Once just to see if there's anybody there, because you'll know if somebody's there because your shell will go in and it'll hit something and you won't see any explosion. But sometimes it can be useful to fire a shot into the spotting bush. If you don't get a hit, even if it just gets an explosion, sometimes later on during the game you might be worth firing another round in there just in case the enemy saw the first explosion, thought, oh well, you won't fire in there again, and of course he'll then go in thinking, oh, I can get some spotting now, because he's not going to fire on the same spot twice. And so that's where it does help actually sometimes to fire on the same spot twice, just to see if the enemy is silly enough to actually use the bush again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel please. And thanks for watching.